Hey everyone, so today we're gonna have a sit and chat about one of Angie's favorite roses, and that is Harlow Carr.
And our boys, we call them our boys, and we will let you know why they are called our boys. They have been with us. Harlow Carr has been with us 4 years and is just putting on the greatest show ever. And that's why we love Harlow Carr so much. And it's our favorite rose ever. It's actually our very first.
It's our very first David Austin rose, and I'm giving you this angle right here so you guys can see what it looks like. This is the side of the house, and as you can see, it has lots of blooms, lots of clusters, and we want to show that off so you guys can see what it actually looks like. Now this is 3 right here, so it has a nice beautiful bush effect, but we're going to get into that a little bit later when we sit down and talk.
Yeah, right now we're still working on this area. It's still early in the season. We're still planning away. We haven't even mulched. We do have some perennials that are growing underneath. There's a couple of bare spots on this side of Harlow Carr, but Harlow Carr does fill out from the bottom. The only reason is this head's getting a lot more sun. But you know, if it doesn't fill out, that's why we put the perennials down there just in case it stays bare.
Yeah, we have some cat's meow down there with some salvias that are gonna fill in really nice in the bottom to cover some of those bare spots in there. And again, we'll talk about why there's some bare spots and stuff like that. Yes. Angie mentioned the way it's growing right here on this side, and it's only because we have a small magnolia tree here that kind of blocks the sun when it comes this way, so it's kind of reaching over this way to try to get some of that light.
But we will probably lift up that cane that's stretching out more towards the light. Another thing is a cat's meow. It's actually nepeta. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Nepeta or catmint?
Catmint. Yep.
Yes. So that's what it is. Okay.
All right. So we're gonna sit down, have our cafecito, and talk about Harlow Carr a little bit more.
So first of all, Harlow Carr is just smelling amazing right now in this little area. I think we're just gonna have to be doing this more often. Just hang out right here in front of him.
Yeah, so Harlow Carr has a very strong old rose scent that absolutely just, it scents this whole area back here. And Angie says she picks up a little bit of that lemon scent.
I do. I've asked other, rose lovers that grow Harlow Carr, and I really haven't gotten that answer back, except for I think one person. And I do. I smell that lemony scent as it carries the fragrance around. The wind carries it around the garden. That's another reason why we love it too. You know when it's in bloom. You know when Harlow Carr is in bloom. And maybe I want to talk about why we call them our boys.
So if you're looking for like the thorniest rose you can find anywhere, Harlow Carr is going to be it. It's got so many thorns. It's probably the thorniest rose I've ever dealt with.
So that could be a con. That could be what we'll be talking about, pros and cons and our experience with this, our own experience with this rose. But that can be one of the biggest, reasons why it could be a con. The very strong fragrance. Some people don't like that. So if you don't want that really strong rose fragrance, that won't be your rose. This is really strong. And all the thorns it has, it's very thorny, but we don't mind it because it's proven to be a really tough rose with the style of life that we have. So we should talk a little bit about why it's proven to us.
So Harlow Carr to me is the most indestructible rose, and I say that because it's going on its 4th year. And just to give a little bit of backstory about Harlow Carr, this was our first David Austin that we got. And we absolutely loved it. It's a great rose. It does extremely well. But talking about it, we put this rose in the ground when we first got it. And then we had a hurricane come through when we were in North Carolina, which completely, and if I can find some footage, I'll put it in there.
Destroyed our garden.
But it was pretty bad. They were bare canes, just looked pretty bad. But I'm going to tell you what. The hurricane happened in September, and by November we had blooms again.
We had roses blooming like crazy in the front of the garden. Harlow Carr had leafed out beautifully again, and he literally looked like nothing had happened.
Oh yeah, so that's the first thing that happened to it. Second thing is we moved, and so they had to be transplanted and put into containers.
Yes.
And then going through that move, we got here and decided we were going to put them in containers here alongside the house. But then we started to think, you know what, let's put these in the ground.
Yeah, so we didn't come into, what we really wanted to do till I'm going to say late summer. It
Yeah.
was hot.
Yeah.
And we've done it before. So we knew if we were going to go that route about planting roses when it's hot, you have to really baby them and take care of them. We just wanted to get it done, so we went for it. And they did. They're here. They're doing amazing. That's why it's another...
Yeah, so...
They can really take quite a bit.
Yeah, so all that moving, all that in and out of containers absolutely didn't phase these roses at all. I mean, if you can see right now, they're blooming away. Their clusters are big, beautiful, all over the place. We just absolutely love this rose.
That's another reason why we love it, the clusters. It blooms in clusters. It forms just so many... It's like a huge bouquet.
Yeah.
I actually love to bring it inside the house. I don't even have to be picking out the flowers. It's just, the bouquet's ready for you to take indoors. And my goodness, inside the house, just that little bouquet of flower of Harlow Carr, the scent spreads all through the home. It's beautiful. So that's another reason why we love it too. It blooms from the bottom all the way to the top, even as a little rose, as the first, the first couple of months we had it, and it started to come into bloom.
Yep.
It was full from bottom to the top.
From bottom to top. So as we transplanted them here, though, we did it a little bit late. Like Angie said, it was in the latest summer. So the pruning didn't happen the way we wanted to because we wanted to shape them the way we wanted to. So what you're seeing here is a lot of bare growth on the bottom. And that's, again, because of the pruning style that we did to them and the late transplanting into the ground. But, we would love to give every rose that we have pros again and again and again. But there are some cons, again, like Angie said, to this rose. One of the things she was talking about is the scent and, how sweet this rose smells. Now, a con to me, and I know Angie has felt this, is that it's so sweet. And I didn't talk about this when I did Strawberry Hill, but Strawberry Hill doesn't attract many insects. Harlow Carr, though, it used to get a bunch of aphids. We've combated that, and it's done extremely well. But the one thing that I'm waiting for this year is the Japanese beetles.
Last year, I did go through something with that. This rose does attract the Japanese beetles a lot, but Japanese beetles usually, hit up the roses with a lot of fragrance. Even other plants that we have, like our panicle hydrangeas, when they're starting to come into bloom, they're all over them. But, that's just something that, how do we deal with it? We actually have a spray that...
We've used BioAdvance to keep a lot of the aphids off and stuff like that, but Japanese beetles are just one of those tough insects that is hard to deter from roses because, again, Harlow Carr smells so sweet. I'm assuming that's why it's attracting it so much, but I actually use a product called Ivy Organic, and it's made by our friend Charles, who we've been using for a couple years now, and it's a mixture of white paint, not necessarily paint, but a product that he makes, and it contains oils in it, and it's a mix of 5 or 7 different oils. I gotta look at the label, but all these oils are used to deter insects. And so when we start seeing those Japanese beetles, again, this year is gonna be different because we are using BioAdvance. We've used a couple of different products, and some of them work well, some of them not so well, but the Japanese beetles are the ones that seem to come back all the time.
And I love to use Ivy Organics in the beginning when the beetles are really around so bad. In the beginning, where my solution is picking them out by hand.
Yeah.
That's what I do, but I can't be out here 24/7. So we spray them, and it actually in the beginning it keeps them away because they can't stand the smell. The smell's beautiful though; it's so minty and so fresh, but they don't like it. So I think that's another reason why. Going back to Strawberry Hill, Strawberry Hill smells of very strong myrrh.
Yeah.
I don't think they like that. So it's something to think about when you pick roses too.
Yeah, it's probably something that they don't like in Strawberry Hill. But again, that peppermint smell inside the Ivy Organic product definitely deters them. But, picking off by hand is one of those things that we do regularly, or Angie does regularly. I'm not home as often, but she does that regularly.
I make my way out here. So early morning, I'm out here looking to see if there's any of those beetles. But, it's just something that you have a garden you have to deal with.
Yep, and you got to get those guys as they start to eat at the buds because that's when they do the most damage on those rose buds.
And, that's another thing, I wasn't big into bringing the roses into the home because I spend most of my time outdoors. But now how, I rather come and cut roses and take them indoors and rather than letting them get eaten by the beetles, I just come and pick and, you know, make little bouquets and just enjoy them indoors.
Yeah, it's absolutely lovely to enjoy Harlow Carr inside because of the scent. It just gives off a great scent, a refreshing scent as well inside.
Let's talk about the size of bloom. It's a cup rose. It's not your biggest rose you're gonna see flower, the shape that you're gonna see. It's beautiful though. I love how, and we'll have shots of that where you can see what it starts to bloom into. So it just takes so many transformations, and the colors of that beautiful pink just change so much. I have my favorite forms of them, and I can't find it right now.
Some of these have some little, they grow with some little globular blooms inside, but they start to open and they start to look,
it just looks beautiful.
Very beautiful. But again, the size doesn't matter with this rose. Like Angie said, they have mid-sized rosettes. But to me, the size doesn't matter because look at all these clusters. I mean, it's just a cluster of rose, just small bouquets all over the place. And there's tons of buds just ready to open. It's a repeat bloomer, so that's a plus for this rose. And that's something that is great to have on the side of the house here, where it can start to look bare with other plants and stuff like that you have here. Is just the repeat blooming on this one.
Very of a medium pink color. Very, very, very pretty though. It just starts to fade out. When it starts to fade out, I love that it looks like it's glowing, especially at night. Yeah. We love to come and do our little walks because just the scent and then seeing it glows. So that's another reason why we love it so much. So
I one more thing I want to add though. So if you're like me and you love to prune roses, and that was one of the things why I started to get into roses, was just the calming effect of coming out here and pruning, you know, and deadheading the expended blooms. It just, to me, it's satisfying to come out here and be able to do that. And with Harlow Carr, it produces so many blooms that you can almost come out here every day and deadhead it. And for me, that's very calming. And, you know, there's my reasons for that, but Angie loves to do it as well. And it's just something that's so satisfying
calming,
to do.
Especially smelling the scent of the rose. It's just so pretty. And knowing that because you're out here deadheading, it's promoting more blooms for you to see. It is just something amazing and beautiful. You know, as many reasons to grow roses, and that's one of the great things about growing roses. The care that you put into them, and then what you get back from them is just so beautiful. I have a reason why I love it, and it's a weird one, the thorns. Growing up, my mom had a lot of roses all over, and she had her very thorny roses growing ramblers on the fence. And it was just for, you know, security reasons around the neighborhood, you know, so she would make sure that her home was protected. And that's her reason why she grew the thorniest, I don't remember the name, I know it was red roses, and she just loved having them. And I thought, you know, so many thorns, it takes you back. It just takes me back to to the garden of my parents' garden. Yeah. So something beautiful too about this rose, I don't even think we have said many cons, is, and I think we noticed that towards this almost third year. And that's what I read right away when we were choosing this rose, the shape of it. It actually forms like a little boxwood, round shrub form, perfect. Also great for containers. That's something also to think about when you're looking for a small space. You know, it's not such a big rose, you know, it doesn't get too huge. So that's something else that I loved a lot. We did get to see that towards the end when we were leaving our past garden, that beautiful shape. When we did move here, we have a lot more shade here. We discovered something about Harlow Carr that we did not know. Harlow Carr is tolerant to shade, to some shade. Not just full-blown hot sun, which that's where we had it in the past garden and did amazing. But it also takes shade. We had it in the back when we got here, right, for a while.
I mean, as you can see right now, it's in plenty of shade along the side of the house, but it gets plenty of sun too. So it's a great rose. I mean, all around, I think it's a great rose.
I'm trying to find cons, and I'm going to say the one con can be big one is that it does get black spot. Yes. I don't think it was really bad for us, but I did see a lot more black spot than other roses we have.
And again, that's something just moving from zone to zone, and that's that's what's so great about being able to move. We get that experience of roses in different zones. And I think being in North Carolina was a little bit of a hotter and humid zone, so it got some black spot. But again, you know, some of the products and some of the stuff, and we're going to be sharing that all season long. Some of the stuff that we're using on these roses to kind of deter the diseases and the insects and stuff like that, and tell you how it's doing. And right now, it's doing amazing. I mean, it's we've had some rain, not as much as last spring, but we've had some rain. And I don't see anything really happening to the foliage here, so it's looking pretty good.
It's been a better spring, I think, this year than last year with roses. I didn't get to see a lot of black spot on Harlow Carr last year either. No. So we'll see. We'll be coming back and revisiting this rose with you all and showing you how it's doing here. We're just, we're still, it's been 4 years, and that's the great thing about the roses. We're still, learning while it's growing about it.
Every day.
There's always something. Every year you take something different from the roses. So I think before we get going more and more, because I think rose lovers, we all love to just, there's always just more to talk about the roses. I think we can leave it here.
If you guys like this style of video, definitely let us know in the comments below. We're going to be posting plenty of photos on Instagram with what's going on with the roses right now, because they're starting to pretty much come into full bloom. Again, like I said in the last video, we're doing a full rose tour here soon, because everything's starting to look gorgeous out here.
We'll definitely be coming back, and on the community post, I'm going ahead and putting some more of you'll see pop-ups all of a sudden of what's going on during the day. That's for sure, to share with you all, not just for the Instagram and Facebook friends, but for you guys too on YouTube.
So that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little sit down and talk. And again, having our cafecito here, because it's something we do every morning. And we enjoy coming out and looking at the roses doing this. But
so we will put more of the information about the rose, the zone and everything on the screen.
It'll be in the description. We'll put that down there as well, so you can follow along and know exactly what this rose completely does. But again, guys, that's going to do it for the video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.